I first want to say congratulations for those of you who are about to start an accounting internship, who have clicked on this video. And if you haven't started an accounting internship but are interested in one in the future, welcome to you as well. So at the time of making this video, it's December. It's right before prime time for many accounting internships to start. The big time that most firms hire or start off their interns is usually in January, usually like mid-January. It really just depends on the firm, might be a little bit sooner, but usually in January. And so I wanted to make this video to share some like tips and tricks for those of you who are about to embark on your first accounting internship, because it can be pretty scary. There are some various expectations, and I can remember, when I myself was an accounting intern. And so I just want to share some things with you guys that hopefully will help to make you successful. So first thing that's important to understand with accounting internships is that an accounting internship will hopefully lead to a full-time offer. It is very, very common for accounting firms to offer full-time positions to their accounting interns, whether that be for a position right after their internship if they're at the end of their schooling, or a potential future position after they finish their school in like a year or whatever that time frame may be. And so it's very common for these firms to offer full-time positions. There's no guarantee, of course, and not all interns will receive that opportunity. But this video is going to be about helping to kind of give some tips and tricks to guide you in that direction if that's what you're looking for, to hopefully get that full-time offer. And so what are some of those tips and tricks? So we're going to talk about 5 here today. So the very first one I want to talk to you about, I think, is really the most important, and that is going to be your likability. So for those of you who are new to this channel, my name is Ariel. I'm a certified public accountant in the state of Florida. I have several years of experience both in industry and public accounting. And this first tip of likability, I remember a couple years ago having 2 fresh interns sitting in front of me, kind of asking me like, oh yeah, what can we do to kind of stand out? And the first thing I told them was to be likable. And it was really interesting because one of the people who I said that to, took me very seriously and was, okay, great, got to do this. And the other person just kind of laughed like it was a joke, but I was being dead serious. And what do I mean by, being likable? Well, it's important to understand that when people receive accounting internships, you're not expected, the firms that you're working for are not expecting you to have this grand knowledge of accounting, right? They're not expecting you to hop into the job, whether you're interning as an auditor or with tax or consulting or some type of like outsourcing, whatever, the thing is. They're not expecting you to be an expert. They are expecting you to have some background knowledge from school, but they're not expecting you to be an expert. And so really what a main job is for you is to stand out by being personable and being likable. There really is a such thing as the importance of building connections. And so definitely I think the number one thing that I see that make interns who succeed versus those who fail are those who put themselves out there, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a super extroverted or outgoing person. It just means that like, make sure, take the opportunity to get to know people. Like if colleagues or coworkers that you're working with offer to take you out to lunch or offer you to join them to lunch, go. I've seen some interns like gladly accept those opportunities, and others, brush off and say, oh no, I'm just going to do, my own thing today, sit at my desk, eat in my cars, do whatever. And there might be a time and place for that later on in your career if that's what you want to do. But as an intern, take that time to meet with as many people as possible, during lunches, before work, after work, during your assignments that you're doing. Make sure, the more people that know your name, the better. That way when discussions are coming up on the back end of whether they want to keep you, they'll be someone that and not someone that they're like, who's that intern again? Especially for firms that are larger that have a lot of interns. You might be at a smaller firm where they only have 1 or 2 interns during the season, and you might be at a firm that has like 20 or 30 at your office. So it really just depends. But, make sure that you put yourself out there, get to know people, build friendships, build relationships. They want to see if you fit into the culture of their firm. They'll teach you the skills that you need to learn. Like that's going to be the on-the-job stuff that you're going to be learning throughout your experience or your months there, and that's fine. So that's not really the key here. The key here is, can you fit in with the people around you? Like, can you hold a conversation? Can you speak clearly to clients as well? Can you work in a team well? Can you take direction? Things like that. So the number one thing is to be likable, be approachable, be friendly, be kind. And that's going to be one of the qualities that really helps you get ahead. And it might seem really obvious, but I've definitely seen some people not do that very well. And they're the ones that typically don't succeed right off the way. So that's the first one. Learn to be likable, get to know people, and you will be off to a good start. So the second tip that I want to share is to be teachable. So as I kind of mentioned before, you're going to be learning a lot of things on the job. And so it's important that you take that time to be a type of person that can be teachable. And so what does this look like? One thing is take notes, take notes, take notes. I see this often all the time. Someone will sit there and they'll get explained how they're going to do some job or task, and they'll nod their head and it seems like everything makes sense. And then as soon as the person who's teaching walks away and you're there by yourself, it's easy just to forget everything. No matter how much you think you're going to remember, you're probably not going to remember. So take notes, write it down. Like, don't be afraid to write either on a, pen and paper or type notes in your computer, whatever it is. Take notes, take very detailed notes of everything that you're doing. If you have to tell someone, hey, can you slow down so I can write this down? Don't be afraid to do that, because it's better that you take notes and write it down and then can do the process that you're being asked to after, versus having to go back to the person like 5 times after saying, well, what did you say again? That's no fun to have to do. So make sure you take really good notes. That's definitely one way that you could be teachable. And then another way to be teachable is to ask good questions. So you'll find in your career, and this just isn't just as an intern, but throughout, that there's a really good balance between asking questions and figuring out things yourself. It's very common to hear that, like, if you're spinning your wheels on a task for a long time, like, don't just sit there, ask the question. However, at the same time, don't be that person that every 5 seconds they're asking a question without actually taking the time to try to think through the process and figure it out yourself. There's so much value in being able to figure out see a problem and to figure out a solution yourself. Now, that's not always going to come naturally right away. I think as you get more experienced, you'll kind of learn how to solve your own problems. And so it's just taking balance. Make sure you try things, give your best effort and try to solve something yourself. And then when you're not sure, ask the questions. It's better to ask now when you're not really expected to know anything than it is to continue in your career for a couple years just kind of sliding by and then having to ask the questions when they think you now should know those things. So don't be afraid to ask questions, but also make sure you're giving yourself an effort as well. And then the next thing with, the next tip is to be humble. And what do I mean with that? So this kind of goes along with the teachable one, but don't be that person that, is a know-it-all. I don't know if that's a very good term to use, but, some of these tips I'm giving from experiences that I've had with other interns. I've had a chance to work with, several over the last several years or a couple of years. And it's just, I have a particular example of someone who didn't happen with me so much, but with some of my other colleagues, that every time they were trying to teach this particular intern something, they always acted like they knew everything, and they even were trying to correct the teacher. the teacher or, you know, the supervisor or whoever it was that was showing them how to do something. And so, not that that's like, it doesn't necessarily mean that she was wrong. You know, she was a very intelligent individual, it seemed. However, there's a time and a place, and it's just really important. Hopefully you'll get, you know, people, managers and seniors and supervisors who are really good at their jobs and can teach you well. But even if they're not, you know, be willing to be patient with them. It's not easy to train, just as hard as it is to learn sometimes. And so, you know, just be humble, listen closely. Don't pretend that you know everything. Understand that they probably have more experience than you. So even if you think that you're right, you might not have all the picture. So, and even if you are right, you know when to speak up and when to just let things go. And I'm not saying let things go as in just do things the wrong way or anything like that. I just mean, you know, you don't need to call out people's mistakes all the time. If they're just little minor details of like how they're saying something, you know, you could still do it the correct way. I'm just kind of rambling here, but just, you know, listen closely, understand that you don't know everything and that's okay. You know, and be willing to just really pay attention and respect the people that are trying to help you out, because they really are there to help you out. And then number 4 is just be a sponge, absorb everything that you can, learn as much as you can while you're there. Everything really, you know, the world of public accounting and just accounting in general is very much like learn on the job. Sure, you learn things in school, you learn some of the background, the technicalities, the accounting standards, but really like what you do on a day-to-day basis really is on the job training. And so just take in everything that you can, really just absorb, learn, you know, and enjoy the process. And just, if you do that, you'll be successful. Just keep learning. It's going to be a little bit stressful at times because there is so much information, but just do your best. Do your best each day to try to pick up things and to get a little bit better each day. Understand that you're not going to master everything right away, and that's okay. But just do your best to kind of build upon what you're learning over time. And then lastly, take initiative. If you can, volunteer for things. You know, it might not always be appropriate to volunteer for a big project if you don't have the skills to accomplish it. But if there are like small tasks that need to be done that no one else wants to do, volunteer for it. Show your boss, whoever is the person in charge of you, your supervisors, the partners, you know, whoever it is, show them that you're willing to like be a team player and put in the work. If you're willing to do that, you'll definitely stand out. I have seen a couple of interns over the years that have been stars that have just, you know, volunteered, like, yeah, I can help you with that, whatever it is. You know, like be willing to do that and you'll stand out. And those are the type of people that, you know, they want to hire. So just take on additional projects if you can. It doesn't have to be difficult things. You know, a lot of times, sometimes it could be some small tedious work. But, you know, be willing to take that on, take that initiative, show that you really want to be there. And then kind of going back to the work, just like as an overall thing, you know, as an intern, you are going to be expected to do quite a bit. You know, as an intern, you're pretty much treated like a full-time regular new employee. The biggest difference is they know you don't necessarily know anything yet and that you have to be trained on the job, but they do still treat you and will give you tasks that you're going to be doing as a full-time employee. All right, you're not just like running and getting coffee for people. That's not what an accounting internship is all about. You're going to be doing the tasks, you're going to be talking to clients, you know, you're going to be learning all these different things that you'll be just doing on a normal basis when you get a full-time offer. And so these are just some tips. There are definitely so many more little things that you could do to make your accounting internship successful. But again, you know, like you're not going to be expected to know everything. Just learn as much as you can, be teachable, be humble, take initiative, and get to know people. And really that people element is going to help carry you there through. And as long as you're able to kind of take up and absorb some of that information and slowly get better over the days and weeks that you're there, you're going to be successful in your accounting internship. And you're going to have a greater opportunity to hopefully get that full-time offer. So I'm rooting for you. I wish you the best as you begin your internship this coming year in 2025. And if you're watching this video at a later time, you know, best of wishes to you whenever you start your accounting internship, or if you're looking forward to doing one. And I'm going to try to make another video soon about when the best time is to apply for an accounting internship too. So if that's something that interests you, hopefully I can get that out to you guys as well soon. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.